Greetings, I'm Matti Mali, aka Untitled Chapter, and I'm going to do something different for a change. As you may know or may not know, I'm closing to my 100th review, but currently I'm in I've sort of lost my video making mojo. And to get it back, I thought to make this kind of easier to edit kind of vlog things. Namely, I list my 100 worst movies I've ever seen. When these kind of anniversaries are closing or milestone celebrations or such, usually people do 100 best movies they've ever seen, but I chose to go for the worst because listing the best ones would spoil some entries from my Worth of an Oscar series. This list also spoils a couple of entries from Tales from the North, but I do that 100 best things in some other milestone celebration occupation. But 100 worst films. A couple of things about this list. This list has been composed by looking what I voted in an internet movie database, and I sorted them in some kind of order of liking. Me not speak well English. In order to get to the list, the maximum rating I had to give is 4 out of 10, and all in from ratings 1 to 4 are pretty much reserved for bad movies. And everything is an okay game, as long as it's feature length, that is more than 45 minutes, and it doesn't matter where it is published, whenever it's theatrical release, TV, movie, straight to DVD, or something I found from the depths of the internet, it's a fair game. So, let's go on the number 100 on the list, Wing Commander. This is the last of those video game movies released in the 90s from the English speaking, and Wing Commander is this multi-part space flying sim, and it's apparently those games are really good, but I'm not very keen about the whole flying simulation thing, so I haven't checked them out, but apparently story-wise they are pretty good. Not this movie, which is surprising because its director and one of the writers is Chris Roberts, the creator of the whole series. And surprisingly, one of its writers is also the guy who wrote the best 90s video game movie, Mortal Kombat. The problem is with Wing Commander is that the acting choices are not very stellar. It has Freddie Prinze Jr., who is kind of a non-entity, and it has Saffron Burrows, who played that scientist everyone hated in Deep Blue Sea. And in these movies her character is kind of the same kind of bitchy attitude, but this movie credit at least the characters he plays in this movie is somewhat well written. A lot of good actors elevate this movie from the whole bottom, like Hercule Poirot actor David Suchet, and Jurgen Prochnow is also there, and they have pretty stellar performances for such a movie that is kind of drags. One of the main problems is that it doesn't flesh out its villains, the Killratis, who are this kind of cat-like creatures, and it's actually the shows then only during the last third, and most of the movies, the Freddie Prinze Jr. character's pilgrimage rogue with his annoying sidekick played by Matthew Lillard, who usually plays this kind of annoying personalities. And yeah, it's all kind of messy. Some good well-written drama portions, but it's yeah, it works like a submarine movie in a space setting, and because sound can't travel in space, it creates all kind of illogicalities in the narrative. Yeah, this was kind of messily explained. If you want more information about it, I recommend to watch the Spoony Experiment review of that. And I just... yeah, one thing I could say that this is not going to be the last video game related movie on this list. So yeah, prepare for those when they come later. But let's move to the 99 on the list, Mission Impossible 2. I haven't yet seen the newest Mission Impossible, which is the 5th in the series, but if it's anything like the fourth one, Ghost Protocol, then I guess I'm going to like it, because the fourth one, I think, where the series found its groove. Many like the third one, but I didn't. I just felt that movie took itself way too seriously. In the fourth one they found the perfect mix of this kind of dramatic action and comedy. And the kind of problems I had with the third one are, well, compressed in the second one, which, well, I don't remember its story actually. I remember that it has the Tom Cruise's agent Ethan Hunt, who is doing all sort of impossible missions, and this has that villain played by Doug Scott, who actually kind of looked like, that character looked like he could be Ethan Hunt's brother. And I guess the movie makers did go for this kind of duality setting. And the other actors, yeah, it has Tandy Newton as the hero's girl, but I don't remember what she was doing in that movie. The only things I remember about that movie is that, yeah, it took itself way too seriously. All these tropes that John Woo, the director, uses in his in the movies he made in China, they didn't translate very well into this American style thing. This all out opera music when one people die, bum bum bum, yeah, and those pigeons flying. Yeah, it was kind of evident in his best-known American directorial work, Face Off, which also had this kind of over-dramatic things, but they made a kind of added a kind of comedic tone. Yeah, unintentional, but it worked better than in this overly dramatic, over-packaged. Yeah, it was kind of an ego trip for its main star. But yeah, it eventually got that better when the series stopped taking itself too seriously. And one amazing thing I should mention, that one of its writers was also penned several episodes of Battlestar Galactica, which I still haven't finished after all these years. Okay. Yeah, I guess that was that. And the next one we have Dark Floors. Dark Floors is this kind of Finnish horror movie that stars the Finnish medieval band Lordi and its members. It's English spoken, it has English actors who are kind of unknown. Noah Hanley, Ron Pickup, William Hope, I don't know these people or their work, but apparently they've done something in small parts in Hollywood. Yeah, apparently the director doesn't want to get his involvement knowing this, because when I look at the Internet Movie Database, one of the credited directors was Alan Smithy. You know, the pseudonym that the directors used to use when they didn't want to their name to be public in the project. So I guess I won't mention his name. But yeah, Dark Force is a kind of a disappointment. And after I watched this movie and I read this kind of comic books that told about the band Lordi, which consists of these monsters, kind of like Gwar. I haven't actually heard any music from Gwar, but you know, the same kind of idea. But yeah, the comics were written by the band's male singer, Tommy Putansu, I think was his name, and telling about where all these monsters came from, and those are actually rather good in expanding the lore of the band's story and adding some layers to it. But yeah, this movie doesn't feature that. No, it's not. Technically, it's not about those monsters. The band. They just appear scaring some of these people at the hospital, and it has the basic horror movie cliches. There is a mysterious girl who is drawing all kinds of weird pictures, and there this asshole who is getting everyone in trouble, and the rest of them I just kind of forgot that. The stories doesn't reveal much information because it wants to be scary, so when people don't know about stuff they are scarier, but just give it some hint what might be happening, then people would start to build up from there. But the movie doesn't provide any hints about even what is happening. It has something about to do with time travel or something. I was going to say something. Yeah. I forgot. Just like they forgot that this movie exists. But if you want a more detailed explanation, I recommend the Dagger Shadows review of it. And the 97 on the list is Annie Wants a Mommy. Yeah, I reviewed this movie 2 years ago in Tales from the North series. It's this rather awkward musical where a girl who has no mother and whose father is kind of a slacker tries to find a new mommy, and there are a couple of mommy candidates where she tries to choose the best one she thinks is for his father. Yeah, it's evident from this movie that the director, Anssi Mänttäri, wasn't in his element. I think this is the only kids movie he has ever tried to do. And its comedy is really awkward, and the songs are kind of an out of place element. They don't match very well. There's not much choreography, and like in the more flashier musicals, even in the Finnish cinema, it doesn't work rather well. Yeah, one amazing thing about this movie was that one of its main stars, Susanna Haavisto, actually won a Jussi Award for Best Actress, and I think that's the part of the reason of what I've dubbed as Scofield effect, named as where in the actor who is so much more realistic compared to the other actors in the film that she just wants the award automatically. I've named this after Paul Scofield, who was the most realistic bunch in A Man for All Season, but I'll talk about that film when I eventually review the movie in the 41 Oscar series. Yeah, I guess that's all about there is to say about that latter awkward thing. I've explained its awkwardness in full detail in the actual review, so check that out. Okay, 96 on the list, Oliver Twist, the 1933 version. Yeah, I briefly mentioned this about in my Worthy of an Oscar review about the Oliver musical that won the that was the Best Picture Oscar winner in 1968. I reviewed it 4 years ago. And for the preparation of the movie, I watched all the other film adaptations. There was, before that, there was the 1922 silent version, which had the best Oliver Twist, Jackie Coogan. I thought he was the most natural and the most charming of all the bunch I've seen. Which is kind of amazing because Oliver himself is kind of a bland character. He just there so that much more interesting characters would interact with him. In case you don't know, it's based on this Charles Dickens novel where an orphan boy goes to London and meets this crime gang and hangs out with them, and there's this fake intel leader and artful dodger second in command and a couple of... Yeah, Sykes was the villain. This very scary man. But anyway, I watched the 1922 and 1933 versions from YouTube, and I also watched there was the 1948 version, which I think is the best of them, and the 1998 Disney version, which Oliver was a cat in New York, and there's the 2005 Roman Polanski directed version, which was rather okay. Yeah, the 1933 version is the only one from the bunch where I don't remember a single thing. And it's kind of a bad thing when you don't remember something about the movie. It's just so bland that I've completely forgotten any interesting elements from it where people talked in it at least. It had Dickie Moore as the Oliver Twist, and other characters include Irving Pitchell, Doris Lloyd. I don't know these people, and even the director William J. Cohen has directed only a handful of movies. I don't have anything to say about this because the film is just so bland it escapes from memory. Anyway, the number 95, Leningrad Cowboys Meet Moses. This is the second part in a Leningrad Cowboys film series, the first being Leningrad Cowboys Go America. Well, it's a third if you count the concert film Total Balalaika Show as a part of this series, but anyway, Leningrad Cowboys movies directed by acclaimed Finnish director Aki Kaurismäki tell about this weird band that has all like of this long Elvis style hairs that has been made very long, those hairs I mean, and they are dubbed as the world's worst band, and they are trying to look for the happiness from America, and then in the second movie they go to Russia to seek for spiritual awakening from this, the titular Moses character played by Matti Pellonpää, and this was one of the last movies he ever made. Picture, this is the kind of a similar situation as Raul Julia with Street Fighter, an acclaimed actor does one bad movie to end his career. Well, he may do one after that, but anyway. Yeah. The problem about Leningrad Cowboys Moses, well, it's a comedy movie. Yeah, it certainly tries to be a comedy, but its comedy is this kind of slow-moving anti-humor. Think about like Napoleon Dynamite, but the cast isn't as versatile as that movie had. Well, yeah, I generally dislike the type of humor this and Napoleon Dynamite present. So yeah, it didn't strike me because it's anti-humor, just doesn't trade any kind of or ha or any other kind of that was actually quite good reaction. I just don't find it funny. It trusts on its humor in its awkwardness, but there are different kind of awkward comedies that work, but they are mostly loaded with misery and yeah. Not just a fan of the style of comedy it tries to convey. Okay, the next one is The Grog. This is actually only released on YouTube. It's made by this amateur group in 2011 with a €100 budget. And considering that movie is a €100 budget movie, it has some neat tricks on neat lighting. The Grog tells about, if you've seen movies, there has this monster named the Grog, who is this purple-colored ghost-looking gargoyle, kind of like a grimace from those McDonald's things, but only intentionally scary. Yeah. Its most well-known incarnation is about the Japanese animation series where Gross was all silent time and was all just a symbolism to melancholy in the books. But in this little film, it's just a monster that goes and tries to grab girls who have broken in their old school and for some reason, because they can, I don't know. Yeah, the girls go through their, I think all these are like 40 years old something. They all go through their life traumas and how they scared the Grog who was looming in the darkness. But yeah, the movie's problem is that it tries to be scary, but because this is kind of lower comprehensive schools levels of scary, these all spooky ghost stories, it's just rather awkward in its delivery. But I have to say the movie's great that despite the low budget, this looks rather impressive. Even the Grog, which is basically someone in a suit, but it worked with that when this. The movie actually has a sequel that is only half an hour instead of this movie's 72 minutes, and I haven't seen that, neither have seen their other feature film Snow Queen, which is also a monster from a movie series. I'll maybe tackle those, I'll maybe look at those later, and I maybe review this movie in Halloween, but yeah, I'll see that. Okay, 93 is Freak Out. Yeah, this I have reviewed 2 years ago. A film directed by Brad Jones, who you're best known from the Cinema Snob. I said in the review it was the first feature film he directed and wrote, but at the time I didn't know about the lost film Sadistic Bitch. And I have to correct one other information that despite this was finished in 2003, it wasn't shown in the local theaters until in 2006. During that time, which I think part of the material was lost or something. They filmed a new ending for it, and they just re-gobbled everything they had from it, and I think they should have edited it more, because this film is so dull. There's there's some neat dialogue there's some dialogue they are talking in their midst of doing the nothing, but in the end, the conversation just go around in circles and doesn't convey anything to anything. Which is a really pity, because the villain in this, played by Brad Jones himself, is a really intense and a complex character, and this movie actually won some kind of award from some horror film festival for the best villain, according to Internet Movie Database. I don't know, yeah. And it's also, the Brad Jones is also the best actor in this, clearly, because the others are this very low-key style. Yeah, low-key style can be done right, but this is the kind of low-key style where it just feels that the characters are bored. Both the main characters played by Nick Foster and Sarah Ogg, who in the credits are named Fulci, they don't feel real. Yeah, why don't they be like me? Kind of a dreary explanation. Yeah, watch my review in the Behind the Cinemas novel mini-series if you want the further details. Okay, 92, Rocky 4. Yeah, I might be the only person in the universe who thinks that Rocky 5 is a better movie, because at least Rocky 5 was kind of based on reality. It had this interesting Rocky's pupil is turning against him plot. But was Rocky's 4 story really necessary? In case you don't know, Rocky is about this boxer played by Sylvester Stallone, who is, by the way, directed this 4th movie also. And the first one, of course, won the Best Picture Oscar in 1976, and this third sequel, which was made, which was released 9 years later, yeah, not so much. Yeah, because the Rocky really needed a story where he goes to fight against a Soviet muscle machine played by Dolph Lundgren, which was this cartoonishly silent and brooding Soviet killing machine who says that I must break you. The whole scenario is unrealistic for such a crowded series as Rocky was, and yeah, and it's the rampant patriotism that is evident throughout the whole film makes it just even more unintentionally hilarious. You know, patriotism can be done right, but it has to be subtle and not like, this is the only true way to go and you must believe it way, but it's in more kind of subtle, this is what I think, you don't need to agree with me, but at least understand me kind of way. Yeah, not more to say. I was going to say something, but okay, yeah, this has been going for too long, so let's just go to the 91. The list, Die Another Day. Yeah, this is the 2002 James Bond movie that forced itself to reboot. So 4 years later we got a very good Casino Royale. Yeah, Pierce Brosnan's last Bond movie was yeah, James Bond movies weren't super realistic back then, but this just took it too far. I mean, the invisible scar is such a witchcraft that it just takes all the believability out of the world that James Bond has, and it also has special effects that haven't been aged very well. Its story is rather stupid. There's all kind of espionage. Yeah, the Die Another Day kind of puts in one pile all the problems that James movie franchise as a whole had that point. It's kind of a collection of all the things that was wrong in the unrealistic gadgets, the rather forced romance between James Bond and this character, James Bond girl. Jinx was played by Halle Berry. Yeah, that kind of romance just didn't work because it was kind of forced. And all the plot twists about this was this British or Icelandic diamond mogul played by Toby Stephens trying to conquer North, South Korea or something. It was just also tonally inconsistent match because James Bond tried to at this point go to a more serious route, at least in the beginning, but it just brings this tonal inconsistencies plus the T-song by Madonna. I know today, analyze this Freud. It was just wasn't a good James Bond song. It was messy and repetitive and yeah, but yeah, I think generally the actors did a fine job. The character just wasn't that good, and the story was messy and all over the place. And yeah, my throat is going to rather, so I think this is a good place to stop. So yeah, that was my 100 worst movies I've ever seen from 100 to 91. So I guess the next video is going to be the Wild North review. I've been preparing for such a long time, but be ready either for that or my next worst movie countdown. See ya!